Anyway, maybe we can edit that part off. Maybe just be in the truth that that was part of my reality today, and part of the future of what I hope to bring. Let's get some feedback really quick. Is there anything you're looking for your body today? Anything kind of love? Let's find some love, self-love coming in strong. So we'll start this beautiful self-loving yin practice here at Nivata with the Nivata Ohana at large out there in the ones and zeros. A little meditation. Finding your comfortable seat. It could be as I am, with the legs crossed in easy pose. You might have a bolster or some cushion you can sit up on to elevate the hips, or even on the bolster, like so, in more of a hero's pose or rock pose. Allow the eyes to soften, to close, and the sits bones in the lower half of your body to begin to connect to the earth below you. This is our root energy. The energy that gets a nice foundation so that we can expand. And feeling the earth underneath you. Really feeling that connection. Often we find our anxieties and our insecurities from not being grounded, and we don't even notice it until somebody might remind us. So we come to our yoga mat and take a moment to be still. For me, I have an anxiousness to get everything done all the time, all at once, as fast as possible. So this practice was very challenging, to come to stillness, to come inward, into ground when I first started. One thing that helps me is to imagine while I'm sitting here, like a magnet to the earth, any connection with the earth, or where I feel seated, roots going down, little energetic lines of connection down through the grass or the mats or the hardwoods or carpets, and slowly making their way through all of the other roots of the plants underneath, and the worms and the rocks. I'm just allowing those roots to keep going down into the earth, apana energy, the falling energy, the descending with the exhales. Maybe bringing a little bit more attention to the exhales than the inhales here. Allowing whatever thoughts might come up to melt into the earth, to be received by the mycelial networks and transformed into nutrients, so that we can begin to grow back up from those roots deep into the earth, into our fullest potential. Here, as the new moon energy comes online and comes alive within the time of the month, the time, the season of the body here. And then from these roots deep into the earth, we'll start bringing awareness to the full breath cycle, finding the full inhales and the soft exhales. Watching the pranic energy rising up the right side and the falling energy down the left side. Finding this cycle, this season of the breath, as we find the season in the lunar cycle, in this warm, fiery season of summer of the year. beautiful moment to recharge our intentions moving forward. The planting of seeds with the August new moon, or maybe utilizing this recording at a future date of a new moon, bringing the hands to heart center to cultivate and draw into this loving kindness, this loving awareness space at the center of your chest, your intention, your seed, your goal, your purpose moving into the next 4 weeks, the next lunar cycle. We'll find 3 yang breaths together, starting by exhaling all the air out, finding that empty space to be filled with your potential. And then inhaling to the base of your spine, drawing it up through the heart, lifting through the top of the crown. And an open mouth, soft exhale. Feeling gravity. Feeling your sits bones on the earth. Feeling the roots digging down. 2 more rounds. Inhale, conscious, intentional breath, filling and expanding between all of the atoms of your body. Exhaling. And the biggest breath of your day thus far. Inhale, expand, this time suspending the breath intentionally at the top of the inhale. Holding longer than you'd like. Soften the shoulders, keep the breath. And then exhale, release the hands to the knees, drop the chin down, give a little bow. We'll find some gentle neck rolls because they feel good. Opening the throat as you inhale, ear to shoulder, chin to chest as you exhale. Yin is all about finding stillness and softness and going inward, yinward. This feminine energy versus the masculine yang energy, but I always like to find a little bit of conscious movement in between postures. We've been sitting for a while. Let's switch directions. And while we open our throat energy, this is the energy of truth and honesty, and that which in you is your reality and your ability to express it. And as you're ready, just finding that nice tall spine once more. Finding a nice breath in and a nice breath out. Whether you're cross-legged or on your knees, we're going to crawl the hands forward. If you have a blanket, you might want to put it down. We're actually going to come very simply all the way onto our bellies, creating a pillow with the hands for the brow to rest on. We're going to shake at our hips for a second. So the hip bone's on the earth, the belly's on the earth. So the front side body gets a little massage. Maybe you're feeling that a similar connection, like roots connected to this earth, grounding us back into our individual truth, our collective truth, and the truth that exists all around us. Finding some stillness. Take a breath in. And a soft breath out. You can use those soft exhales whenever you'd like. If you find a buildup of tension, press into the palms. Lift your torso up. Find Sphinx pose. The hands come in front of the shoulders. The shoulders are above the elbows as the elbows rest down onto the earth. Gaze is forward as the chest shines the heart out in front of you. And the crown can reach up tall. We don't want to slack the neck and the shoulders up to the ears. Rather, we do find a little activity pressing the shoulders down through the elbows. The palms can be down with a little pulling action to accentuate the back bend here, the compression in the low spine, or for a softer variation, the back of the palms can be down, having the palms in a receiving and giving gesture. If If you have a block handy, you could have the block in between the hands to rest your brow on if your neck does get tired. And we'll find some stillness, softening the entire lower half of your body, allowing it to melt. Coming into this subtle back bend, or maybe not so subtle. Everybody's different here. A couple options for support. If this is a lot for you, you could bring a bolster underneath the chest for a little less on the shoulders. And if it was enough just to be on your front side body and that had enough of compression in the low spine to be a first edge and your brows on your palms, so be it. Without judgment, we arrive on our mats to cultivate the awareness within the body, to open up the layers in our yin practice, the energetic channels, shedding what's no longer serving, and a meditation in shapes and breathing and being. Doing the best we can to allow the mind to rest in the breath. And if that becomes a simpler task for you, you could, or maybe it's a difficult task and this becomes easier, sending awareness of the mind into the place of sensation in the body. Specifically here in this pose, intention is to target the compression in the lumbar spine. So breathing down into that space, sending your awareness into that space, because where our awareness goes, the life force flows, the pranic energy travels, and we get that healing of the breath there. And we hold our poses in our yin practice for an extended period of time to really tap deep below the surface, below the external large muscle groups, and find stillness and breathe here without agenda, without obligation, and without judgment. And I encourage you throughout practice, if you notice the mind having attack thoughts, can you, as soon as it's recognized, say something you love about yourself? You're thus changing the pattern of the vibration of our internal communication. Is this thought something I would say to the little girl inside of me or boy inside of me? Finding at least 3 more breath cycles here while I describe. If you'd like to go deeper into seal pose, the hands walk out to the edges of your mat. The palms press into the earth, extending through the arms, lifting the whole torso off the earth, the pelvis pressing down, and the lower half of your body remains soft. And we'll spend the last minute of our kidney compression, our lumbar spine compression, and whichever posture feels best for you. Listen to that yes in your body. About 3 more breath cycles wherever you've gone. however you're showing up, whatever shape is available. Last inhale. Exhale, slowly lowering all the way down, creating that pillow once more with the hands. Lifting the heels up and giving them a little windshield wiper of the shins. Maybe even a couple little circles in one direction and the other of the heels. Bringing some fresh fluids back into the compression, the squeezing of the fascia just created. And lowering back down, let's bring the hands under the shoulders and press up to a tabletop pose. Gently and slowly, eyes soft or closed, knees under hips, hands under shoulders. Find a little sway, maybe looking over the right shoulder at the right heel, the left shoulder to the left heel. And then we'll bring some fluids back to the whole spine, finding a few rounds of cat-cow. Inhaling, lifting sits bones and gaze. Exhaling, tucking tail, rounding spine. Without any pressure from the ego to find sensation here. Just simply finding the breath in the body, creating the motion. Then we'll move down into the hips for some work, because I know I need it. Finding this beautiful tabletop pose. I'm gonna spin. Bringing the right leg long behind you, finding a little stretch to the sole of that right foot, tucking the toes under. We're gonna bring that right knee, setting up the sleeping swan, right knee to right wrist, and then walking that left, the right ankle to the left wrist. And we want to notice if the right hip is off of the earth, bringing something underneath it for support. And working the right shin, that front shin, towards parallel with the top edge of your mat. And then finding that similar softness through the left leg that we found in the previous posture. You could stay elevated here, up on the hands with the lifted chest, eyes through the brow center or closed down, looking forward. Maybe if you have a bolster, as this opens through your right hip, you could lower down. Maybe eventually you could actually lower all the way to lying on the bolster or even lying on the earth. Same goes for this right hip as the first edge opens in our deep outer right hip opener, our sleeping swan. Maybe the block or the support no longer becomes necessary. And we can move to the second edge and then the third edge. And we just find awareness in these spaces we're creating in the body. And then we breathe our seed of intention, our purpose into that space. So our whole being becomes embodied with that we hope to achieve without attachment to the outcome of the practice. And we surrender, surrendering to our expression of the shape, our uniqueness, with our kind, loving thoughts. And similarly to how a gong or a drum or singing bowls shall shift our cellular structure, our energetic structure, so too do the words we speak. So too do the words we think. Finding the practice, albeit sometimes challenging, a crucial part of the self-love work, the holding of the wounds of our past, often delivered through the judgments we say to our own being. Do you have the courage to shift those thoughts? Will you take note when you speak poorly of yourself and shift that thought into a light filled intention? Beautiful idea I just heard on my way here. You wouldn't speak poorly to your heart or your lungs or your eyes, but you would maybe speak poorly to your entire being, which includes all of those little pieces. Just food for thought. We'll find a few more rounds of breath on this side here. Two more breaths in your time and your peace. You can always use sound or vibration, such as a to relax any tension as well. And bringing the palms back to the earth, pressing down to come up. Let's just simply come on to the outside of that right hip and swing the legs out in front of us. Oh, and feeling that hands behind you, soles of the feet on the earth. We'll find a gentle sway left and right of the knees. And then we'll cross the ankles and real simple practice today, just coming back to that tabletop pose. Finding a couple of little movements. Maybe it's the looking over the shoulders or a couple cat cows. Take about 5 breaths to move any energy that's been released here, any thoughts, words, or emotions that need to be exhaled through the palms into the earth for her to receive and transform back into usable energy. Coming back to stillness, extending the left leg back behind you, finding a little soul stretch across the foot there, across the back of the leg, and then opposite side, left ankle towards right wrist, left knee towards left wrist. Noticing if that left hip is elevated and placing what you need underneath it. Hands are on the earth or maybe even the bolster already, keeping that elevated spine. Left shin working towards parallel with the front edge of the mat. Doesn't need to be all the way there. Goals and practice, not perfection. And you can remain here. This might be the perfect place for you as the hips neutralize and the right leg softens all the way down to the sole of the foot and the tips of the toes, and each toenail relax. And maybe you begin to feel gravity and the opening, the unfolding of this posture on this side, coming down onto elbows, Or maybe the block can be removed. Maybe the bolster can be removed. Maybe come all the way down onto your brow and notice, because we'll be here for a while. Yep, you went too far, too fast, like I did. You can always come back up. The unfolding is the important part. The journey there is the important part, not the arrival. Each moment is a step towards the next. One step at a time, one breath at a time, one moment at a time, one day at a time. Each moment an opportunity to make that choice. Does this feel good? Is this aligned with my path? Does this bring me a icky, sticky feeling or a bright, fluid feeling? Is there a rising energy or a falling energy? And while there is always obligation, how might you shift the perspective for any obligation to be for you versus to you? And how can you return simply back to your intention and your breath and arrive unfolded into your unique shape for some time of stillness here? Some time of quiet. Feeling the earth holding you and the air hugging you, divinely supported. To be on your path. Opening the body to its wisdom, its internal knowings. With your conscious awareness, finding a few more rounds of breath for this side. Maybe about 5 more. Letting any sounds that come up in your space move through you, just like your thoughts. And the emotions that may arise from these deep openings. Our last 2 breath cycles in our sleeping swan on the left side. Maybe utilizing the resonance of your natural healing sound on the final exhale. That sound that is uniquely yours, that only your body can create to heal itself. Pressing the palms into the earth to begin walking the torso back up. Coming on to the sits bones. Extending the legs out in front of you. You can find the windshields again, windshield wipers again, or extend one leg and then the other. Whatever really feels nice for you. We'll find a gentle opening for the inner thighs. So setting up for our butterfly pose, you may want the spine nice and elevated. So coming onto a bolster could be of service, or a folded blanket could be good as well. What to avoid is sitting on nothing and feeling like you're falling backwards and collapsing to the earth on the back body versus towards the feet, the front body. A block handy is always nice as well. So finding this little bit of anterior rotation down and back, so the heart lifts up, the crown becomes extended away from sits bones. The arms could reach up if you'd like on an inhale. So then the exhale softens you forward. It might not be far, it might be to here. You might just find a little tuck of the chin, and that's enough of a forward fold, enough sensation in the groin, inner thighs, maybe the outside knee, depending on where you've placed the feet. You can always change that distance. You could have your face at your feet. Every body is different. The block comes in handy here on the inside or the inner ankles, and you could sack fists to rest the brow on, softening the shoulders, of course. And we find this gentle forward fold, moving from the outside of the hips to the inside. In one of the more relaxed spleen meridian postures. And so many of these postures target multiple meridians. There's not one specific one for each posture, but if you're feeling it, this posture on the inside of the legs, inside of the thighs, that's spleen meridian. If it's more of the outside of the knees, the thighs, stomach meridian. Spleen meridian housing a lot of our angers and frustrations, and boy, are there a lot of them with the current state of the world. So recognizing that some of this is not ours, our own karma to hold, we can come into these postures to cleanse and just come to our pure self. Surrendering into your unique shape and feeling gravity maybe pulling you further into the posture, past your first edge to your second, third, fourth, fifth, maybe to the point where your feet are actually behind your head. Not today. And breathe. I invite you to move the breath into the back of the heart here. Going up the back of the lungs and sending that breath down into the sits bones. And then exhale, softening the shoulders further, softening the jaw. Are you holding tension somewhere? Can that tension dissolve? Is it a necessary resistance? Yoga helped me bring awareness to my clenching of the jaw, which still builds up over time through uncertain or chaotic, ungrounded situations, but now I notice it more frequently after 15 years of practicing. It's hardly ever there. Maybe just when I sleep. So from these forward fold postures, you can really cultivate a grounded energy, not just through cleansing out the meridians, but drawing awareness to your point of connection at the base of the spine. Breathing into that and exhaling, engaging the pelvic floor while softening the rest of the body. Expanding that energy on the inhale, contracting that energy on the exhale. Just some other tools to play with, little tools to help keep in awareness with the practice. So we have intention, we also have little muscle engagements, the breath, breathing into sensation, all help us find these present moments of feeling. We'll find the last few breath cycles here. And last inhale. And a soft exhale. Pressing the palms down and ground them down to lift the torso back up. Hopefully you're in line with your mat still. And if you have that bolster behind you, place the butt of the bolster to the low spine. If you don't have a bolster, or moving into reclined butterfly and you have a block, that block goes in between the shoulder blades, kind of higher than you think it should go, so that there's no pinching in this place where the ribs stop. The other option is some books or pillows. What we're gonna aim for is a heart opener here. Leaning back, and you could have a second block underneath the back of the head. If you have the bolster, you just lay back. The legs, if this is enough for your inner thighs and you're kind of over that, the legs can extend out long into the fish posture. If you'd like more and you have a block, you can lift that up. We'll take some time here before moving into our final postures. So really take a moment to feel comfortable in this heart opener. Adjust accordingly. Try one thing, and if it doesn't feel like a yes and your heart is supported and the shoulders can soften into gravity and the arms can relax, roll off and retry. Maybe you have all of the options, the block and the bolster, and you stack them as such in the video. And if nothing more, you get to simply exist here. Subtle sensation or intense sensation, whatever they may be, we get to be in gratitude to simply exist for these moments without the incessant need to do. Letting go of each of those distractions with your exhales. Letting go of attack thoughts with each breath out. Letting go into this place of sweet surrender, where your heart is open, giving and receiving in loving awareness, connected to all things, connected to your entire self, or cultivating that connection. And rather than breathing in and out of the nose or mouth, while innately you still will be, imagine if you can breathe through the center of your chest, drawing energy in from all directions and expanding energy out in all directions from the center, the very center of your being. Your intention coming and going, manifesting and being given to all others. Imagining from your heart all living things connected and surrounding us. Each one receiving our own unique intention for ourselves. As you exhale, rippling that out into the world, and each living thing sending that intention back into you as you inhale, drawing it into the chest, into the body, to be embodied. Moving past the burdens and the layers of the ego, of the story, of the beliefs we've created to cope with life here in human form, in our human experience, returning back to the beautiful space of loving awareness. So simple. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. I'm being and bearing witness to 5 more breath cycles here. This wave, this vibration, and the quality of this moment. And so softly and so gently inviting into consciousness something you love about yourself. And so softly and so gently rolling off of whatever support system you found onto your right side so that the heart shines up towards all other things. You can be cradled by the earth here, the right arm underneath the ear. Taking a moment to be the seed of your intention in this unfolding of the new moon energy. planting the seed to grow and to be let go of at the moment. Using the top hand of the left hand to press down gently to come back up. We'll remove any blocks, bolsters, or items of support from under us, and simply come onto the back, drawing the knees into the chest, giving yourself a loving hug of gratitude, inviting in to your consciousness something you're grateful for today. As simple as this breath, as expansive as loving awareness, whatever it may be. Big breath in. And as you exhale, release the knees, the arms go out wide, the knees can soften to the right side. And then the chin could rest towards the left side. Supine twist or twisted roots pose, depending on how you'd like your legs to be in your final twist. And twist into the right. Supporting our digestive system, something I just learned yesterday. Always twist right first. And then twist left. And notice the quality in your breath in a twist, or only twist today. Notice if the breath is shallow and just chest level, or if you can pull it down more into the diaphragm. And maybe the shoulders rest down onto the earth as you exhale, and the back of your heart feels super grounded here. And can you send the roots of your heart into the earth? Can you allow your emotional body to be grounded and stable? And can you simply surrender your tension, your resistance, and your dis-ease into the ship, away from the body, into the earth? About 5 more breath cycles here. And as gently and as softly as you can, drawing the knees back into the chest, giving yourself another gentle, loving hug of gratitude, inviting in the second thing you're grateful for today. And then as you exhale, the arms release, the knees go left, the chin maybe rests right. And the roots of the heart remain into the earth, and the shoulders can soften, and the jaw, and the whole face, the furrow of the brow, the tension in the temples can all release into that place of surrender. softness, of that gentle love, you can give permission to receive from yourself in any moment, at any time, if you choose to. Maybe it's noticing the quality in the breath, noticing the quality in the mind. Is it soft or rigid? Or are there thoughts? Or is there thoughtlessness? Can you be, or must you do? In our last 5 breaths on this side. In your time, in your gentle peace, drawing the knees back into the chest, and giving yourself that loving hug of gratitude, inviting in a third thing you're grateful for today. And thank you for my healing, releasing in final resting pose, Shavasana. Extending heels away from crown, wrists away from shoulders, shoulders away from ears, crown away from hips, and a full breath in, letting go of everything. Exhale. When you're ready, dissolving your whole back body into the earth. Surrendered into this space. You are safe. You are safe. You are safe. In this safety, receiving all of the gifts of your practice. I'll hold the space for you for the next few minutes. Surrender here in this safety of the earth and the air. Simply existing as you are held. Right here, right now. To simply exist. And gently and softly from surrender, bringing in serenity to your breath, bringing your consciousness back into your body, drawing in courage for gentle movements once more, continuing to maintain the body's unique wisdom to guide and to heal. Eventually, you're extending the arms away from the heels and the heels away from crown with a full reawakening breath in. And coming into that seed shape on one side of your being or the other as you exhale. No rush, no obligation. Eventually, in your time, peace, serenity, courage, and wisdom, pressing with the top hand down to come back up to a seat and feeling the breath, feeling the quality in the body. Maybe the vibration has shifted. Maybe the breath has shifted. Maybe the mind has shifted. And if not, no judgments, just finding that gratitude to witness. And hands can draw to heart center if you so choose. I thank you for giving me this purpose to show up for you, to be in service for your healing. And I thank you for mine. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. May peace move and flow through and with you for the rest of your evening and beyond. The light in me sees and honors the lights in you. Namaste.